Welcome back to another video. So there is a new update that's just been released in Last War. Got updated today, which is the 17th of September. So I'm just going to have a talk through or discussion of the update. So first of all, there's an optimization for the Cannon Storm event. So for the Serum Factory buff, the cooldown reduction effect. So for the teleport cooldown, it's changed from minus 50% to minus 20%. They've added voiceovers for additional languages. That one, I'm not too sure about that because I've never used that one before. But let me know in the comments if you've ever used the so-called voiceover feature. They made some additional improvements, so some system optimization. So for the Alliance donation weekly rankings, when commanders have the same donation points, the commander who reached that number of points first will rank higher. And in the Alliance assembly point panel, you can now set whether to display the text label of the Alliance assembly point. So for that one, what that means is when you go to your assemble tab, for your assembly point, you can now have an option to either show or hide the actual text or label. So by default, it's switched to on. So as you can see, it shows the text, right? Now that's the default option. However, if you go back and just click on or uncheck the show label, it will simply hide it. So it just sort of, I guess, makes it a bit cleaner when you're viewing your Alliance hub, so to speak. So, and then there is also a optimization to the frontline breakthrough. So you can now tap to view information about the top 3 commanders. So that's pretty much how, like, when you tap on someone's profile picture, you can see like their profile, you can message them then, see their moments, etc, etc. And there's been a battlefield event optimization as well. So after the sign up stage ends, the request to battle option will no longer be displayed. So that's, of course, when you go to Desert Storm, Cannon Storm, you register, and you can click on request to battle. So that will disappear. Sign up stage ends. They've also optimized the tap selection range for ruins and giant cannon, allowing for more accurate targeting of buildings and nearby targets. And they've optimized the recruitment animation sound effects for Mason and Farhad. So, I mean, I'm not sure why they decided to, change the sound or optimize it. But I don't know, from what I've heard from other players in Discord, they don't like the sound updates. So, yeah. That's not something I care too much about because I mostly play the game on mute anyway. So yeah, not really too concerned about that one. And now this one's an interesting one. So commanders can now add in-game Alliance events, battlefield events, and officials appointment reminders to their device's system calendar reminders. So when I first read this, I got pretty excited because I naturally do this myself. Like I always check the event hub and manually put in the events in my calendar so I remember, and I set up reminders so there's no chance of me forgetting. The problem is, number one, obviously this won't work for PC, so it only works for the mobile version of the game. But I did go to the mobile version today and I tried this out, and I was only able to save the Martial Guard to my calendar on my phone, which is obviously known as Alliance Exercise. And what it did was it automatically added it to my calendar, and it set up a reminder 10 minutes before the event starts, like as a heads up. The problem is in the actual update notes, it says you're allowed to, or you're supposed to be able to do this for all in-game events and battlefield events. So that should include Cannon Storm, that should include Desert Storm, Zombie Siege. And also it says it's supposed to include, like, when you go to, your server name or number, and, you apply for any one of these titles. I've tested all of that. It does not work on the mobile. Okay, so the only one that's worked so far is for Alliance Exercise, aka Martial Guard. So I'm not sure if they made a mistake in the update notes or if this is a glitch, but I have reached out to support and I'm waiting for their response to find out why it's not working. So yeah, so that one has potential if it works, but so far it's not really working as advertised. So that's a little bit disappointing. Now moving on to the final sort of change. So they've removed the achieve first place in arena from the bonus condition in both Warzone Duel and Faction Duel. So that's the final sort of change they've done. And then of course they've done a bunch of bug fixes, but I'm not going to go through those ones. So overall, this update isn't anything completely drastic. Out of all the changes they've made, probably the one that's sort of I guess the most notable in my opinion is the ability to, add the in-game events and official appointment reminders to your device's calendar. Unfortunately, that has not worked as advertised, so yeah, that is a bit disappointing, but hopefully the devs can fix that, so we'll see what happens. But that's the end of this video, so thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you in the next one.